Hi guys, this is Evil Bobbins, and this is a quick review of my Android tablet. This is a tablet made by Advent called the Vega. It's a 10-inch tablet, capacitive touchscreen, so it's really nice and easy to play around with. My previous one was resistive, so it was pretty pointless and archaic. It was good for what it did, but it didn't do anything very well. This was a very good upgrade. It was I believe just over £200 from Currys. For that price you're getting a dual-core Tegra 2, which is the same chipset in the Zoom and quite a few of the new Acer ones coming out, like the Icona and the Transformer. This one's got a different ROM to stock on it. It hasn't got the standard, I believe it's 1.10 at the moment, or 1.9 from Advent. This is running a custom ROM by Corvus5, which kind of unlocks a lot more the functionality of the chipset, so it gives it a bit more speed, makes it a lot smoother, unlocks the kernel on it so you can overclock it. So I've got this running at 1.4 on dual core. You can tell by this little widget I've got here called set, which is part of set CPU. So it's 1.4 on both cores, dedicated graphics, so everything runs really nicely, and I've got a Launcher Pro launcher on top of it, so it's nice and bouncy, you get some nice 3D effects in it. You can basically customise everything you like. You can have as many home screens as you like, change the transition effects, things like that. Really good launch to have, much better than the basic one that comes with this. So we've got your apps drawer, all things in there. We can actually scroll the taskbar on the side, which is quite cool, so we can have an extra line of apps. So that's all like my cleanup apps and my task managers and things. Now all my basic things like mobile, Firefox, email, web browsing, basic market. It's got a 1.3 megapixel built-in webcam, no camera on the back. But to be fair, do you really want to take pictures on a tablet? You'll look a bit of a fool walking around with a big tablet like this, saying, "Oh, I'm going to take your picture." Would be a bit strange. That's what mobile phones are for, or real cameras, in my opinion. It's not everybody's, but that's mine. Some of the other features on the Advent are things like on the side here, well, you can quite make that out, there's a little magnetic catch there you can open. That's got a HDMI, a USB, see that there, so you got SD card, there's micro, USB and full-size HD, so a HDMI port, which is quite cool. Volume on the top there, a few extra buttons on the top. We've got an orientation lock, a back and menu button when you hold it down for longer, and a power and lock button, and a microphone there. So you can just about make out the webcam on top there. This is a little dot there. On the left hand side there isn't anything, and the headphone and power socket on the right hand side. So I'll put this back onto my makeshift stand. Okay, there we go. And one of the downsides to the Advent that quite a few people have been saying is there's no hardware buttons for things like back, lock, forward, those kind of things. There is, but they kind of double up. Like I was saying earlier, that the back button doubles up with the menu button, so you press it once you get back, long press it like this, you get the menu pop at the bottom. It's a bit awkward when you're trying to do things. Same as the lock button, you have to hold it down to get the power off menus. So I've got a little app here called Button Savior. It's a little tiny arrow thing. These act as your buttons. That overlays on any application, so you've got your back, menu, home, power. So it just makes up for the hardware buttons. One of the nice parts of this ROM is you've got a nice little see-through drop down bar, which is quite nice. What else have we got on this ROM that you don't normally have? With Launcher Pro, you can press the home button and you get your multi-view, or whatever you want to call it, of your workspaces. Another downside to the Advent there that I've just inadvertently remembered is occasionally around the edges of the screen, sort of the extreme top and the extreme edges, you kind of lose a bit of feeling in it. It doesn't always work, so things like the home button won't work first time, so you might have a couple of goes and get slightly more into the screen to make them work. Same with the back buttons. It's not really too bad, to be fair. On most games and most apps you don't use the extreme edges. Things like Samurai Vengeance, your controls are sort of here into the screen, so you don't really notice that. There is a weird double tap thing on it, that occasionally when you press something it double taps it, which is a bit strange. Not so bad in this ROM, to be honest, so I don't think it's screen related, I think it's just badly written drivers. The other good one of this ROM in particular, Corvus and Corvus5 have written extra bits into this ROM to make the accelerometer work correctly. By default, the accelerometer on games such as Abduction will go absolutely crazy when you're playing vertical. You'll play it vertical and it'll think you've got it in horizontal, and rather than you tilting slightly left and slightly right to make your character jump up the screen, it'll just keep flying to the right hand side of the screen really quickly, and there's nothing else you can do about it. Thankfully in this ROM they've rewritten I don't know, it was rewritten the drivers for it or something, but it works absolutely perfect. So things like Rolling Thunder 2, I think it's Rolling Thunder, Raging Thunder, yeah, Raging Thunder, and Abduction 2, the pinball games, anything like that were absolutely perfect on the accelerometer. It's like playing it on an iPad, so it's absolutely perfect. Speaking of the iPad, the graphics in this are, in my opinion, a lot better at the minute. So you've got things like the THD range of games, so you've got things like THD Pinball, Samurai 2 Vengeance, Fruit Ninja, Gorilla Bob. They're all written just for this chipset, and this chipset if it does one thing really well, it's graphics, which is massive upside to this tablet. For a £200 tablet to have that much graphics power and a dual core processor and a good screen, you know, you can't beat the price really, to be honest. Its main downfall is its screen. So you've got the extreme edge problem. The accelerometer is kind of screen related but isn't. There's also another downside that I don't find it a downside, I find it kind of good in a way. If you hold the screen this way up, say you're reading a book or reading a comic or anything like that, and if you start tilting it, you get the extreme edge, you can't quite make it out. It's more that way, so the screen kind of phases out. Some people say that's a problem. I actually like it. If I'm sitting on the bus or train or whatever and I'm reading, I don't like people reading over my shoulder, so it's like having a privacy screen built into it. So for me that's perfect. But yeah, that's the Advent Vega. I will be uploading a video later of me testing this with Vega Cone Beta 1 Alpha, or Beta 1A, whichever way around you want to call it, as I tried that on it earlier. It works really well. There are a few bits that are hit and miss in it, but it just shows that it's getting there, and for a sub £300 tablet to be able to run that sort of system on it just shows how versatile this system really is. But yeah, if you've got any comments, leave them in the box below. I'll leave a few links to the ROMs I'm running and the place to get it from in the notes below, and I'll catch you guys next time.